2 TB of unattached disks appeared on the cloud bill after deleting a stateful set. When a new stateful set was created, pods attached to the old PVCs with the old storage class instead of the new one. Here's exactly why. Welcome to TheCodeForge. Before we dig into that production issue, let's cover Kubernetes services Ingress. In this video, we'll dive into Kubernetes StatefulSets, their stable identity, ordered operations, and the silent storage leak that can cost you thousands. A stateful set is a Kubernetes workload object for stateful applications. Each pod gets a stable name, its own persistent storage, and is created or deleted in a strict order. Each pod has a deterministic name like Postgre 0. With a headless service, DNS resolves each pod individually. This identity survives restarts and node failures. Here's a stateful set for PostgreSQL. Note the service name matches the headless service, and volume claim templates creates a PVC per pod. Stateful sets create pods sequentially. Pod 0 starts first, then pod 1, and so on. Deletion happens in reverse. This ordering is critical for quorum-based systems. The default pod management policy is ordered ready. For systems that don't need ordered startup, Parallel creates all pods at once, faster but risky for quorum. Volume claim templates creates PVCs with deterministic names. These PVCs are not deleted when the stateful set is deleted. They persist, consuming storage. Storage class reclaim policy determines what happens to the PV when the PVC is deleted. Delete removes the data, retain keeps it. Choose wisely. Rolling update updates pods one by one in ordinal order. On delete gives you full control. Pods are updated only when you manually delete them. Here's how to configure update strategies. Rolling update with max unavailable. One allows one pod to be down during update. On delete requires manual intervention. PodDisruptionBudgets protect stateful sets during voluntary disruptions like node drains. For a 3-node etc. cluster, set min available. 2 to maintain quorum. PDBs can use min available or max unavailable. For etc. min available, 2 ensures quorum. For Kafka max unavailable, 1 allows one pod down at a time. For HTTP traffic, Ingress is cost-effective. A single load balancer can route to many services via path or host rules. Load balancer services are simpler but more expensive. And Ingress routes external traffic to services based on host and path. Here, users goes to user service, orders to order service. Prefix path matching is not regex. A rule for /API will also match /API keys. Use exact for literal endpoints and always test with curl. Here, /API/v1 uses prefix, matching /API/v1/orders but not /API keys. Docs uses exact, matching only docs. The Ingress API is no longer evolving. Gateway API is the replacement, separating roles for infrastructure, operator, and developer. Gateway API uses gateway and HTTP route resources. This example creates a gateway with TLS termination and an HTTP route routing payments to payments v2. This is the same issue we highlighted at the start. Here's exactly why that happened. When the stateful set was deleted, the PVCs were not deleted. When recreated, Kubernetes matched PVCs by name and ignored the new storage class. The fix: manually delete the orphaned PVCs with kubectl delete PVC, verify the underlying PVs are released, then recreate the stateful set. This ensures new PVCs are created with the desired storage class. Deleting a stateful set does not delete its PVCs. They persist, consuming storage and causing issues when recreating with different specs. Prefix matching matches any path starting with /API, including /API keys. Use exact for literal endpoints or add a trailing slash to avoid ambiguity. Setting min available to the replica count blocks all voluntary disruptions, including necessary node drains. Set it to quorum size instead, e.g., 2 for 3 replicas. The article mentions Gateway API as the replacement for Ingress. However, note that as of Kubernetes v1.31, the Ingress API is still widely supported and not deprecated. Gateway API is in beta and requires a separate controller. Migration should be planned carefully, as Gateway API introduces new concepts like Gateway class and HTTP route that are not backward compatible with Ingress resources. The article discusses TLS termination, but does not show a concrete example. Here is a complete Ingress resource that terminates TLS using a secret, which is a common production pattern. The article assumes an Ingress controller is installed, but does not emphasize that the choice of controller, NGINX, Prefix, HA proxy, AWS-ALB, affects available features and annotations. For example, path rewriting, rate limiting, and canary deployments are controller-specific. Always check the controller's documentation for supported annotations. To debug StatefulSet issues, start by checking PVC binding status with kubectl describe PVC. Verify the headless service exists and test DNS resolution from within a pod. Let's run through some common interview questions. What is the difference between a StatefulSet and a deployment? StatefulSet provides stable identity, per pod storage, and ordered operations. Deployment treats pods as interchangeable. How does a StatefulSet ensure stable network identity? Via a headless service, cluster IP. None, that creates per pod DNS records. What happens to PVCs when a StatefulSet is deleted? PVCs persist. They must be deleted manually to avoid storage leaks. And a few frequently asked questions. Can I change the storage class of a StatefulSet? Only by deleting the StatefulSet and PVCs, then recreating with the new class. Why is my StatefulSet pod stuck in pending? PVC may be pending due to missing storage class or node affinity issues. How do I resize a PVC in a StatefulSet? Set allow volume expansion, true on storage class, then edit the PVC spec. To recap, StatefulSets are powerful but come with operational pitfalls. Always remember to delete PVCs when decommissioning and use PDBs wisely. Ready to go deeper? Up next, Kubernetes ConfigMaps and secrets, then Kubernetes StatefulSets, then Kubernetes HPA. Find them all at TheCodeForge.io. Thanks for watching. The full article and code examples are covered in detail at TheCodeForge.io.